From the station that made country music famous, 650 AM WSM, this is a Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast. Hi, it's Charlie Matos, and welcome to our Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast. In this episode, we sit down with Carly Pearce. Carly joined us on our studio hotline. Normally, she would just come in studio. She lives just a couple of miles away from our Gaylord Opryland Resort and Convention Center studios. But with self-quarantining and the COVID-19 and coronavirus, we are doing a lot of phone chats these days. And Carly joined us on our studio hotline. We would talk about her new album and that great new single with Lee.
Not just one monster single, but a full album that came out on Valentine's Day. For Carly Pearce, that was Lee Brice teaming up with Carly on I Hope You're Happy Now. We are very happy now. If I walk to the front door, would you be sitting on your car hood in the Waffle House parking lot over across the way? You just don't want to get too close?
I'm just stalking you through the windows. You just don't know it. I just felt like that was a better way of doing this interview. Change it up.
I'm telling you to watch Joe Smith sit over here and sing along, take the part of Carly Pearce. Well, actually, she does both leads.
Oh, yeah, I do. I go back and forth. I love it that much.
That's what I do in my life, Joe.
I love that song. I'm already obsessed and fangirled over it many times.
Well, it was Jonathan Singleton, Randy Montana, Luke Combs, and our special friend and guest, Carly Pearce, who got together a quartet of songwriters who made it happen, and then Lee Brice winds up as the duet partner on I Hope You're Happy Now. And this is taking things to a whole new level, again, for you, kind of like Every Little Thing did, Carly.
Yeah, it really does feel like it. It's hard at the moment to realize that, but I'm closing in on a top 10 single. I just wish I could go hug people for that right now.
Now, where would you be right now? I'm sure out on tour somewhere, headlining or opening for somebody on tour, or you and Michael doing things. Of course, you were in New York recently before the quarantines really kicked into effect, the two of you on national television. Where would you be? How's it changed things for you?
That was crazy. I feel like we were in New York on GMA, and it was kind of like you could feel that they were aware of what was about to happen, and we weren't really privy to what was about to happen. March and April were kind of a lot of just random shows for me, some with Michael, some radio shows, some different things. And then in May, I'm supposed to be gearing up on the We Are Old Dominion tour. But as you know, everything for me is canceled until May at this point, but we just don't know.
I want to let people know that tonight at 8 o'clock, or actually at 7 o'clock hour, we start, where we would normally do the Tuesday night Opry, since we're not doing anything but Saturday night shows right now. We have an encore of Brad Paisley, Vince Gill, Marty Stewart on the stage of the Opry this past Saturday at 7 o'clock. And then at 8, it's a night in August of last year, Carly, when you, Molly Tuttle, Ricky Skaggs, and Garth Brooks took the stage of the Grand Ole Opry. It re-airs tonight at 8 o'clock.
That's cool.
I love that. I remember that night very well.
So,
that was a big one.
Joe, how long have you known Carly?
Oh my gosh, Carly. Okay. I've known about Carly for a really long time. We've kind of run in the same co-writer circles, and I started hearing about Carly through some co-writers. They were like, she's great, she's amazing, and then I was signed at Sony. At RCA, and my A&R rep was also in the process of signing Carly and brought her in, and we met in her office for the first time. Wasn't that right, Carly?
Yes, and I remember I was just being signed kind of in a development deal back when they did those.
Right.
And I remember being so enamored by Joanna because she was like the it girl. Like she was the one that I remember being like, oh my gosh, I want my name on a filing cabinet like her. And I want, I remember all of that very vividly.
Well, I remember meeting you that day, and you and I both, have been in the business for a long time before your career took off, and you had deals here and almost deals there, and I had the same. And I just remember when every little thing happened, I was like, yes. And everybody in town was like, finally, it's her turn. She's earned it. She's worked hard. She has all the talent in the world and everything else, and it's time.
And could be a model if she never sang a note.
Yes, we've had this conversation off the air. We're like, that ain't even right.
Oh, my gosh. Y'all are making me feel good because I haven't put makeup on really in a couple weeks now.
Well, listen,
it's getting a little scary.
Hey, the word is up. You've seen it because I saw the pictures on your social media of Maren Morris without makeup after having that baby yesterday.
Oh, my gosh. I know. I was like, get it, Maren. I don't know that I would look like that after childbirth. I might look more like Michael. I don't know.
I hope you're happy now. Was it multiple writes to get it because there were 4 different writers, or did it all come together with all 4 of you in the same room?
You know, it's funny, and I guess a lot of people don't know this. Myself, Luke, and Jonathan Singleton actually got together first. That was the original co-write. And we got together, we were talking, I kind of told him just what I'd been going through, knew I wanted to write a duet. Luke actually had the idea for I Hope You're Happy Now, and then he started playing the chords, or Jonathan started playing the chords, and that entire first verse just fell out of my mouth, like the entire thing, start to finish, and that's what you hear. Then we wrote the chorus, and then I had to leave or something, and I know that Luke and Jonathan worked a little bit on something, but then Luke had to leave, and so we never finished it. And then Jonathan brought Randy in on a day where I guess he got canceled on, and they finished Luke's part.
Wow.
So it's like I never was in Luke and I, sorry, I'm like all these men in my life. Luke and I were never in the room with Randy.
That's so funny. I love hearing how songs
Me
actually
too.
happen. And that's a unique story. That doesn't happen a lot.
And I'm glad our audience gets to hear that as they listen
and to take
watch.
it a step farther, Randy is really good friends with the guy I wrote the song about. So that was fun. When you figured out who the song was about. So he actually wrote the song about his friend.
Well,
did he know that at the time?
He told, I have read in interviews, the first time we will see each other is hopefully at a number 1 party eventually in 2022. No, I'm joking. I read an interview that he did where he was like, as soon as I heard this song and what it was about, I knew exactly who it was about. So that was an interesting perspective for me to be writing from. I was like, oops.
Well,
funny.
and we've kind of come full circle now because you guys wrote without everybody being in the same room, and literally we're talking to you this morning with no one in the same room due to our quarantine
That's true.
this morning.
You're right.
So I had to leave something for Bill this morning. Did you get the stamps I left for you, Bill? You did finally mail that license thing in, right? I don't think you have 6 months to do it, right?
I found the text from Carly. Hi, Bill. Just confirming you mailed our marriage license. For those of you who don't know, I married Carly and Michael October 6th of last year. Finally back in town for a day. This was Carly to me. I said, you bet I did. Even had to put a local cancellation stamp on the envelope. You're legal.
I remember being like, I don't really know how this goes, but I need to just check in and make sure he did that because that
You're
might
smart.
get fuzzy by the end.
Smart girl. Because you have 3 days in Tennessee to get that thing back to the courthouse. We'll be right back. More with Carly Pearce is coming up. I Hope You're Happy Now. Big single, doing great things for her, and we're excited. A new album came out on February 14th. That was Valentine's Day.
More Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
And more live with Carly Pearce on the telephone. No in-studio guest because of quarantine and social distancing, but I got to see her do this song for the very first time live on the stage at the Grand Ole Opry, standing next to her then boyfriend, now husband, Michael. If ever there was a song for a time, a moment in time, Carly Pearce from her brand new album, self-titled, eponymously titled. It won't always be like this, Carly Pearce, that you'll be doing quarantined interviews on Coffee, Country, and Cody.
Yeah, it's so interesting how this song keeps taking on new meanings for me since I wrote it. I mean, obviously I wrote it for the 3 reasons of missing my grandpa and missing hometown, and then understanding just wanting to give 22-year-old Carly a hug because she thought she wasn't good enough, and realizing that scenario of not working in Nashville wasn't going to last forever, and then finding love and realizing got to hang on to that because that's precious. And then, you know, in the process of making that album, my producer Busby was battling a brain cancer that he didn't even know was going to take his life in 8 weeks at the age of 43. And then now this, and it's just like, wow, what a strong message that I didn't even know I needed.
Yeah, I remember standing with Michael backstage the first time you did it at the Opry, and neither one of us wanted to be the first to look at the other and see if they were crying. And we both were. Both of us had big tears all welled up in our eyes and trying to man up. And I'm trying to get back to the podium as Carly's finishing up her set and get my composure. So, by the way, separation anxiety for Carly Pearce and her fan base. She's got at carlypearce.com. Text me 615-257-9552.
Let's hang out. Come on. Michael and I are going. I'm actually pretty introverted, so this hasn't been too hard for me until like the last probably like 3 days have I just been like, okay. But Michael, he's FaceTiming everybody. He's calling everybody. He's looking outside to see if there's anybody that wants to wave at him. Just say, hey. He's an extreme extrovert.
It is terrific.
You guys haven't gotten to spend a lot of sustained time together either, right?
No. I mean, this, you know, we were playing a show together in Connecticut, and we had another show. We kind of had a run of shows right before all this happened, and then we were supposed to play in West Virginia, and they literally just called us, and they were like, everything's canceled until the unforeseen future, and we just found ourselves flying home and saying goodbye to our bands, and it's been hard. I mean, it's hard to not feel responsible for your bands during this time, you know, the livelihood of them, and wondering when we're all going to come back, and so we've gotten sucked into some TV shows and just trying to make the best of it. But it's hard when you have two artists that are like we live to be on stage, and it's just like, oh my goodness, like, what do you want to do today?
Yeah, kind of like, you perform for me, okay, and then it's my turn, and I'll be the singer.
Carly Pearce, that was a Valentine's Day release of this new album that is available, and I hope you're happy now. Of course, the single it's doing great things for. I read where on her social media, on Twitter at least, Carrie Underwood had said, hey, I'm getting caught up on some new music, things that I don't have time to do when I'm out there being a mom and being a professional singer. And she says she's listened to Kelsey Ballerini's new album and really enjoyed that, and a song called Holding the Bottle. What has been your go-to? Is it somebody new, or have you been digging through your record collection and playing older stuff, or what?
I really, I listened through Kelsey's album, obviously, because I love her, and she's been just a really good champion of mine. And
she took you out on tour with her, didn't she?
She did, long before I had anything going on, and let me sleep on her bus because I was in my SUV and also in a 12-passenger van. I mean, she's just been really good to me. And I think that her song Half of My Hometown with Kenny Chesney, that one really struck me as like just being a special song. And then, I mean, I'm listening to all kinds of stuff. I'm a huge Gabby Barrett fan right now, so I'm just really rooting for her. She's got the big old song, I Hope, that's definitely going to go number one. And she's kind of like my little country music sister that I'm really hoping will just slam into the superstardom.
So how was the Newlywed Game? Was it harder than you thought it was going to be on GMA?
I don't know if you watched it, but Michael, of course, made it very funny and made everybody blush in the room.
Yes, I saw that.
You saw that? Yeah, I was like...
Yeah, I quizzed Bill to see if he guessed which one of you got the questions right.
Oh, my gosh. We've played a lot of Newlywed Games, and it's interesting. Sometimes we are, like, in sync and, like, on it and got it. And then sometimes we just aren't. So I felt like that one was pretty good.
Which was tougher, that or the Southern Living interview where you had to determine if it was a country song or not?
I don't even want to talk about that. That is one of the most embarrassing moments of my life.
She blew it on Dolly, who employed her over at Dollywood in her early career. Charlie and I had a great laugh about that. We are Old Dominion tour. If the thing ever gets going again, Dustin Lynch and Carly Pearce are going to be out there with it.
We want to, God willing, but we're just taking it a day at a time, and I'm trying my best to just be ready. I can tell you what, you're going to have a whole town full of really energetic artists when we get back out on the road. So I hope country music fans are ready.
Thanks for listening to our Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast. Our program director at WSM Radio is J. Patrick Tittle. Our digital producer is Haley Hall. Marketing and promotions director is Amanda Cannon. And I'm Charlie Matos. If you like what you've heard, make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. And leave us a review on iTunes. It really does help new people find the show.